Hey guys, what's up? It's Elements here. Today I want to talk about Curse and all the roster swaps and all the drama that's been kind of going around with them, and just like the whole, recent situation, to say the least. But I actually want to start off this vlog explaining why I chose to leave Curse. And I actually left Curse for a number of reasons. A lot of those were just personal reasons between me and the company or the team, but the biggest reason I chose to leave Curse is because I basically couldn't be on a team with Saint Vicious anymore. I tried to get Saint kicked off the team since we went to Guangzhou, China, I believe it was, for that tournament. I kind of tried to, or not really kind of tried. I did. I rallied the team together, and we all kind of got together and talked to Liquid about it, and just saying how much we have issues with this dude, and nothing really came of it. Nothing really got done, and those issues kind of got ironed out for a little while. We started doing really good in the scene. We started dominating LCS and stuff like that in the qualifying bracket to get into LCS. So we were doing really good, and when you're doing really good, not that many problems come up. But pretty much as soon as we moved to Vegas, shit just turned real south again, and me and Saint were pretty much at each other's throats at any given moment. And living with somebody when you're just fighting with them pretty much every single day about the most random of issues or team issues, or just not liking being in each other's personal space, it just creates this real shitty environment to work and live in, So I tried to get Saint kicked off the team again by rallying up everybody. I had a big conversation with them, and went to Liquid again, and it kind of got turned down. So after that, I went up to the higher ups at Curse, and I was trying to talk to them about my issues and what's going on with me, and trying to get everybody to say what they have to say. The only person who kind of had my back there was Cop, but at that point it just kind of looked like summed up, oh, bot lane's bitching about Saint again, what was bot lane? But the issues were a lot deeper than that. So it was obvious that me and him were just not getting along. It wasn't going to work out because near the end of the LCS we started to do not as good, and that's because life at home wasn't so good. Life with the missus wasn't going so good back in Vegas, and yeah, again, it was obvious that it wasn't going to work out, and it was obvious that Saint wasn't going anywhere. He had a lot stronger connections in Curse, and I talked to Liquid about it after going to the higher ups and explaining my issues, and a day or two later, we agreed that it was probably best that I leave the team, because I couldn't be on the team with him anymore, and I it was basically like, well, either Saint's leaving or I am, and Saint got to stay, so here I am, a year later, after that happened, or it was a year ago that this happened actually, and yeah, so that's really, what happened is just shit turned south. Everyone was at each other's throat, and it was a battle. It was Elements versus Saint Vicious, and fucking I got knocked the fuck out, I guess, to say the least. So Saint gets to stay. And moving forward, despite my reasonings for leaving the team and everything that happened, let's actually look at the players and the rosters of Curse and their timeline of what happened. So I leave the team, and Rux comes in as my replacement, right? And then I wasn't doing what the team needed, so it's like now it's like Rux needs to go because Rux isn't doing anything. So after that, Rux leaves. It was the end of the first spring split. Coming summer split, they bring in Edward, right? And they're like, oh shit, you got this top tier support from Europe. He's gonna dunk everything. And Curse has a terrible split. They I actually can't remember. I'm pretty sure they got relegated that split too, and they had to get their way. They moved their way back in again. So next year, coming up spring split, actually no, through all of that they had after the bad summer split, Saint steps down for Dominate, and then actually Jackie gets kicked off to the B team. Cop actually got booted off for a while there too, back when Pobelter and Afro Moon joined Curse for a little bit. Cop got the boot too, and it was like, let's just boot everybody. we need a whole new team. And then after Avramu and Philbelter left, Cop and Zenict came back because I believe they were the bot lane for Curse Academy, and they were doing, well. So they're like, let's just move those two guys up. And actually, when they had Quas, they had Dominate, they had Cop, Zenict, and who am I missing out here? Quas, Cop, Zenict, Dominate, Voyboy. There we go. Voyboy. How could I forget Voyboy, right? When they had those 5 dudes coming into the most recent spring split, or right now, and even before that, they were like shitting on the challenger scene. Like, Curse was just like dropping the fucking dumpster truck on everybody, and the challenger scene just like mopping the floor. Came into LCS, and they weren't the most or the strongest team coming in, but they were like middle of the pack. They were doing decently. They were taking games off people, and they were doing good. And then what happens after that? They give Zenic the boot, and look what happens to the team. And Saint comes back on, and they just start going, and I think it has kind of like a common thing would happen with me and Saint, because Dominate is kind of like a player like me, and I'm not talking skill wise, but I'm talking like mentality wise, that we have, because me and Saint would butt heads about everything. Sorry for hitting the mic there, because it's kind of a too many chiefs, not enough Indians kind of syndrome, and I kind of feel like Saint and Dominate are the exact same thing. They're both going to try to call shots, the shot calls, right? Shot calls, gotta do the shot calls. But I kind of feel like him and Dominate are pretty much the exact same in that regard. And having multiple people trying to call shots or lead or whatever, it kind of just gets confusing. You kind of get jumbled up, and I honestly kind of think that's probably the reason why they're not having as much success as they were having as soon as they added Saint back on the team, because you just need one person leading the team and making those calls. And that was kind of the issue that Saint and I had, is because we'd butt heads about everything, and then I think Dominate and him would just like butt heads about everything. Granted, I'm not on the team anymore, and I don't live in the house, so I can't really say too much about what happens with them. But I kind of get the feeling from my experience with being on the team and living in the house that that's probably what happened. So now with Saints again departure or stepping down, they have Bunny Fufu stepping in, and I honestly think this is like the best thing they could have done, because despite the bugs that happened during Saints play, it was obvious that he was playing a role that he just shouldn't be playing in, and I'm really happy for Curse that they actually got a good challenger support. Like I was waiting for the day like Nidus Hermaine, or who's the other guy, Nidus, and I don't know. There's just so many good like challenger supports that should be stepping up to these LCS level teams, because they should get picked up. There's a lot of good players out there, and I'm glad they found a challenger support to actually come up, and hopefully Cop can have some synergy and move forward with that. So on top of all of this, I also saw this other little conspiracy thread, and it says Saint's been going back to jungle, and he's been trying really hard and whatever, right? But I have to say, to kind of give my 2 cents about what management should do on the team and all of this, is that, in my personal opinion and professional opinion, I think Dominate is a much better jungler than Saint Vicious, and if I were Liquid, I wouldn't put Saint back on the team, because obviously, if you couldn't tell by this vlog, I don't think he's meant for team play. I think he's an outstanding, hardworking individual. If this was StarCraft 2, I think Saint would do fucking amazing, but, if you can't play well with others in a team game, then that shit just ain't gonna work. So, I think Dominate should stay in the jungle. I think Voy needs to go back to top lane. Like, he's just not having the results he's needing to have mid lane. I mean, I don't know if that's forced or if it's him wanting to do that, but he definitely needs to get his ass back top lane. Quas is pretty much playing top or mid laner's top. He's got his Karthus, he's got his Gragas, he's got his Swain. Like, just go middle already and let Voy go top with his like a little assassin, a Kali and Lee Sin and shit like that. Just like let Voy do Voy and let Quas go middle, and I think there would just be so much harmony between them. And I also got to say, in my personal and professional opinion once more. I think Cobb is one of the best AD carries in the scene, but not because he's this playmaking support. It's because he's the most consistent player out of, I think, anybody in LCS. From when I watch him play, he has his good games, he has his bad games, but I mean, the difference, it's not like his good games are up here and his bad games are down here. It's kind of like this. It's kind of like he's very just like so consistent, and I think having an AD carry that's like that consistent is just it's unreal. It's so good for any team, and if you can have a support that's going to make plays for him, and Cobb's going to capitalize on pretty much everything that a good support does. So, I mean, if this Bunny Fufu guy actually, can do work, Cop will follow up with that. Cop will get fed, and Cop's gonna carry. And I'm actually kind of excited to see what they can do. Despite again all the drama, I've always watched Curse and I've watched the LCS, and again with all the drama and me being out of the team for a year, I feel pretty confident about my opinion right now about what they should do. And yeah, that's really what I think Curse should be doing right now. That's my opinion about how they should move forward. And that was my reasoning for leaving Curse that I've kind of kept to myself all this time. But yeah, I mean, that's really all I gotta say. I don't know. What do you guys think? That's my vlog. Peace.